Stop scrolling. Have you ever sat down, really sat down, and thought about what would happen if someone sued you tomorrow? Not in a vague, abstract way, but concretely. Specifically, what would actually be at risk if a tenant, a contractor, or a creditor decided to take you to court and won? If you own investment property in your own personal name, the answer is deeply uncomfortable. Everything. Your home. Your savings. Your pension. Your children's future. Every single asset attached to your name becomes fair game the moment a judge rules against you. And here's the truly alarming part: most property investors have no idea this is their reality. Today, we're talking about the ultimate shield against this catastrophic risk, the SPV. I'm going to explain exactly what it is, how it protects your properties, and the fatal mistake that can destroy the protection in seconds. I am the Wealth Guardian, and this channel is designed to bridge the gap between complex legal jargon and practical, real-world asset protection. My goal is simple: helping you keep what you've worked so hard to build. So, if you're a property investor or a family looking to secure your legacy for the next generation, this channel is built for you. Before we go any further, this video is strictly for educational purposes. I am not a lawyer or financial advisor. Nothing here constitutes legal or financial advice tailored to your personal situation. Always consult a qualified solicitor or financial professional for guidance specific to your circumstances. What this content is designed to do is help you understand the landscape, so that when you do seek professional advice, you're walking in informed and prepared. Now, let's get into it. To understand why an SPV is so powerful, you first have to understand the trap that 90% of property investors fall into. I call it the everything in one bucket problem. When most people buy their first investment property, they buy it in their own name. It feels simpler, mortgage products are more accessible, paperwork seems manageable, and it's the default path. But then they buy another, and another. And slowly, without ever making a single conscious decision to do so, they end up with an entire portfolio, sometimes worth millions, sitting completely exposed in their personal name. Here's what that means in legal terms: when you own property personally, you and that property are legally the same entity. The law doesn't draw a neat distinction between you as an individual and you as a property owner. It sees one person, with one pool of assets, fully responsible for everything. Let's make this concrete. Imagine a tenant slips on a staircase in one of your rentals and suffers a serious injury. They sue you for $1 million, and the court rules in their favor. That tenant's legal team isn't limited to pursuing the value of that one property. They can come after your personal home. They can pursue your savings accounts. They can reach into your pension. In fact, they can go after almost every asset you own: your investment properties, your family home, your savings, your pension, your car, because it all sits in a single, legally undivided pool. One successful lawsuit, and someone else gets to reach into that pool and take from it freely. So, how do we fix this? The solution is a legal principle called asset isolation. Instead of holding everything in one bucket, you create separate legal containers for your assets. The analogy that captures this best is a submarine. A well-engineered submarine isn't one large open compartment. It's divided into multiple sealed, watertight sections. If the hull is breached in one area and water starts flooding in, the crew seals the door to that compartment. The flooding is contained. The rest of the vessel stays dry, and the ship continues to operate. Your property portfolio needs to be built with the same logic. Each asset, or each group of assets, must sit within its own sealed legal compartment so a breach in one area can't cascade into the others. In practice, this is achieved through legal structures, and for property investors, the gold standard is the Special Purpose Vehicle, or SPV. What is an SPV? Very simply, it's a limited company created specifically and solely for the purpose of holding property. Here's the magic of the SPV: the company owns the property, and you own the company. But crucially, the company is a completely separate legal entity. It can enter into contracts, take on its own debt, and face lawsuits, entirely independently of you as an individual. This separation creates what the law calls the corporate veil. The corporate veil is the legal barrier between a company and the people behind it. When a properly maintained SPV faces a lawsuit, that lawsuit is directed at the company, not at you personally. If a contractor pursues a legal claim because they fell off a ladder at your rental, that claim is against the SPV. The company's finances are exposed, but your personal home, your savings, and your financial life sit safely behind the veil, completely protected. And for investors with larger portfolios, you can extend this logic further by using multiple, separate SPVs for different properties. If one SPV faces a catastrophic legal challenge, the other SPVs, and the properties within them, remain entirely insulated. Now, this is where a critical warning becomes necessary, because this is the point where many investors make a second, equally serious mistake. They set up the SPV, transfer their properties into it, and assume the job is done. They believe the corporate veil is a permanent, static shield that exists simply because the company was registered. Listen closely, it is not. The corporate veil is a legal construct that must be actively maintained. Opposing lawyers are trained to look for a specific legal doctrine to destroy your protection, veil piercing. And it's triggered by an error called commingling. Commingling is the blurring of the line between you as an individual and your SPV as a separate legal entity. It happens far more easily than most people realize. Do you use the company bank account to pay for groceries, a family vacation, or a car service? Do you move money freely between the company and your personal accounts without proper documentation? Individually, these might seem like trivial accounting errors. But collectively, they build a picture that a skilled opposing lawyer will use in court. They'll argue that your SPV isn't a genuine, independent legal entity, but simply your alter ego, a corporate mask with nothing real behind it. And if the court agrees, if the veil is pierced, every protection the SPV was supposed to provide is gone, instantly. The lawsuit passes straight through the company and attaches directly to you. Your home, your savings, your personal wealth, all of it is back on the table. If you create an SPV for asset protection, you must run it as a genuine, independent business. Always. Separate bank accounts, rigorous financial records, proper board minutes, and a complete separation between company finances and personal finances. Treat your business like a business, because if you don't, the law will not treat it like one either. Understanding the problem is only valuable if it leads to concrete action. Here's your 3-step Wealth Guardian checklist for this week. Step 1. Audit your current position. Sit down and map out every asset you own. How many properties are currently held in your personal name? What is your actual legal exposure right now if a lawsuit were filed tomorrow? Step 2. Review your insurance coverage. Asset protection is structural, but it's also about insurance. Do you have an umbrella liability policy that covers the gaps between your individual property policies? Find out this week. Step 3. Consult a specialist. This is non-negotiable. Asset protection structures like SPVs are not generic. You need a solicitor who specializes in asset protection and property law. The cost of getting proper professional advice is always significantly less than the cost of getting this wrong. The investors who are genuinely protected aren't necessarily more successful than those who are exposed. They simply took the time to address one fundamental question, not just how do I build wealth, but how do I make sure I keep it? Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments section right now, tell me, are your properties currently held in your personal name, or have you already started setting up corporate structures? Where are you starting from? Let's start a real conversation. Every comment gets read, and every question matters. If this video gave you clarity on something you hadn't fully considered before, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. It directly affects how many people this content reaches, and your support allows me to help other families protect their assets before it's too late. Stay prepared, protect your legacy, and I'll see you in the next video.